I think AEW Full Gear 2024 has the potential to be one of the shows of the year. Potentially, this card could be stacked with many dream matches with some personal rivalries as well, as in my belief, things are starting to heat up in AEW as we're on the road to AEW Full Gear, which takes place in Newark, New Jersey, which of course will be on November 23rd. It's match card predicted time. Yes, we're more than a few weeks away. In fact, on the time of recording, we are 4 weeks away from the pay-per-view. So I'm going to predict everything from top to bottom and going to get your opinions in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my match choices and what matches you think we will see on the show. Now, I've got 13 matches in total, so 2 of those I think needs to be on the countdown, the buy-in, 0 hour, whatever AEW wants to call it. So let's start off with Hook versus Christian Cage. Obviously, Christian Cage and his group are meant to be the ones who attacked Taz in the parking lot, taking him out, which is why we've not seen him on commentary for AEW Dynamite as of late. Hook made that reveal that it's someone a part of that group this past week on Dynamite, and imagine it will lead to Hook versus Christian Cage for this show. Will Hook pick up the win? For me, I probably would say no, if I'm honest right now. Christian Cage has a guaranteed world title contract, and even though I think this would be a good opportunity to get Hook to the next level, I just don't think he's ready to beat someone who's in the world title picture, but that's just me at this particular time. And the other match then for the 0 hour countdown buy-in, whichever you want to call it, Shelton Benjamin versus Max Caster of the Acclaimed, because, well, Shelton Benjamin has looked awesome since starting in All Elite Wrestling. Of course, aligned with MVP, he's wearing the Hurt Syndicate on his ring attire, so we know that group is coming. And, well, Max Caster, he has confronted him once already, and Max Caster's openly and publicly said for the longest time he did not want Shelton Benjamin in All Elite Wrestling. Now, I have seen the Max Caster interview with Chris Van Vliet, which is where I'm going to quote from here. Max Caster has said that he doesn't really want anyone in AEW. It's mainly because of the fact he doesn't want people to take his spot. He feels he can do the job that others are being brought in to do. So that's kind of what his reasoning is behind it. But it's always been very open and very direct when it comes to Shelton Benjamin amongst some other performers. Goodness knows why that is. We don't know that reason, but Shelton Benjamin is now in All Elite Wrestling. He is a part of the promotion. It makes sense to do this match. Personally, I'd be down for Hurt Syndicate versus the Acclaimed if there's more members in time to come, but at the time of recording, it's only Shelton Benjamin. But going on to the main card in a couple of seconds' time, you'll know I have one other person, but that person is going to be needed for a top singles match. And that person is going to be Bobby Lashley. Yes, Bobby Lashley's debut to AEW seems imminent at this point. I think he will be the opponent of one Swerve Strickland, because Swerve is sticking with Prince Nana when he could be aligning with the Hurt Syndicate, and that's not going to be happening. Swerve has said that Nana is family, he will not be leaving him. Therefore, Swerve has a match on Friday Night Dynamite against Shelton Benjamin. I think that's when Shelton takes his first loss. I think Swerve picks up the win, and that's where I think we will get a debut of Bobby Lashley, setting up Swerve versus Lashley for Full Gear. It's early days to make a prediction of who it will be. For me, I think Swerve would hopefully win the feud, but you'd like to think if Bobby Lashley is coming in, a big win could be in his future. So I would actually say Bobby Lashley would win this, and this could even be his potential in-ring debut at All Elite Wrestling if they want to, I don't know, save Lashley's in-ring debut, make it feel special, putting it on pay-per-view against one of the big players in AEW. You've seen them on the thumbnail, let's talk about them. Adam Cole, baby, taking on MJF. It's destined to happen for Full Gear. MJF has said he's not going to appear in AEW until Full Gear. Adam Cole wants him, Roderick Strong wants him in a match, so he said the first person to 3 victories gets him in a match. Is it me, or could we see them, Adam Cole and Roderick Strong, get 2 wins each and then have to possibly face each other to decide it? I'm not sure. However they do it, I think Adam Cole is going to be the person that will get that match. And, well, they've got a bit of explaining to do. They've tried to explain the narrative, of course, because if you go back nearly 12 months, MJF was the babyface, had the brochacho Adam Cole, had the friendship but changed everything about him, was no longer going to be this horrible human being, and then Adam Cole stabbed him in the back with this devil storyline, stealing his mask and having a new group aligned by him, the Undisputed Kingdom. Of course, Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Wardlow, who now seems to be absent and not part of the group. The other members have come out and said they're still alongside Adam Cole. They still have the belief in this, as we mentioned as well. Roddy Strong wants to be the person to take on MJF first. I have a feeling this could be a massive ruse. I have a feeling that at the moment, as I said, Adam Cole was the bad guy, MJF was the good guy, but somewhere in the mix of injuries and both being off TV for a long time, MJF has kind of got stale as a babyface and I think does better work as a heel, therefore he's back on the bad side. Adam Cole has been away for so long that people naturally want to cheer him because Adam Cole, baby, is massively over and everyone loves to do the boom as well. So what do you do in this scenario? For me, you switch the Undisputed Kingdom, you go and put them with MJF. Have them stab Adam Cole in the back at the second he thinks he is going to get the win over MJF at Full Gear. This drags things over then to World's End. You could even go all as far as Revolution if you want, because all of a sudden Adam Cole has Roddy Strong, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. 3 people supposedly meant to be best friends and brothers stabbing him in the back to go with MJF. For me, that's how I see it going. Now, Kyle Fletcher has called out Will Ospreay for next week for Fright Night Dynamite, but something tells me whatever happens next week, this is going to carry over and it's going to conclude on pay-per-view. Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. Look, I think this is brilliant. I think that Kyle Fletcher all of a sudden feels like a much bigger deal in AEW. He was seen as, well, the next big thing. Then he was seen as the next Will Ospreay. Particularly the second one wound him up, which is why he screamed, "I'm not like you, Will Ospreay," and shaved his head on, well, on national TV on AEW Dynamite. I think that something evil and sinister may happen to start this feud off, and I think it will conclude eventually Will Ospreay victory. Eventually, it's just how the pattern is and how we're going to get there. But one thing's for sure, I think this is the magic of Will Ospreay. I think backstage he wants to get Kyle over. He wants to make him, turn him into a top guy. I think that's exactly what they're doing, and they're using the Don Callis family to get over in the meantime to do so. So yeah, I think this is ticking all the boxes all around. Really looking forward to it. Would love to see Kyle Fletcher win the first match. I think that would really make a statement for them, Will Ospreay, to get their revenge at a later date. Potentially a screwdriver could be involved as well, but let's see how storyline plays out between now and Full Gear. For the TBS Championship, Mercedes Moné going against Kris Statlander. Statlander has been feuding, well, it feels more with Kamille at the moment, but I think Kamille is going to be having her first loss on Fright Night Dynamite, and I think that will lead to Kris Statlander versus Mercedes Moné. Of course, Kris Statlander, being a former TBS champion as well, knows what it's like to hold the gold and actually have a quite credible reign as champion as well. This one I think will be a really fun match when they do it, but I would see Mercedes going over. Switching things over to the AEW Women's World Championship, things are a little bit more tricky there actually of how that is going to play out, because Mariah May, she's got a lot of feuds going on along the side right now. She's currently feuding on screen with Anna Jay. I believe Anna Jay does have an upcoming championship match on the way as well, so depending on what they do with that, that could fall out to Full Gear as well. There was altercation with Sky Blue on the countdown to All Out, and of course Sky Blue has been out with injury, so that's probably been saved up the sleeve for when she's ready to return. And of course, who can forget Timeless Toni Storm, which I think she'll make a return probably towards the end of the year, and I think those two possibly could even main event AEW Grand Slam in Australia, which of course will take place in February. So which of the ladies is it going to be, or is it going to be someone completely different? Jamie Hayter. But for me, I'm going to go at the same Anna Jay just right now. It's the program we're seeing on TV right now. It feels like, although I think there's a title match set before, there's still a way that you can drag this further out to the pay-per-view. So I will say that it'll be Mariah May versus Anna Jay. But I mentioned a host of different people that could face Mariah May on this show. Whoever goes against her, until it is Toni Storm in Australia, in my opinion, Mariah May retains that championship. One of my favourite matches from AEW Wrestle Dream was Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page, and I'll tell you what, I think we're going to get it one more time here at Full Gear, but this time I think we've got a stipulation in hand, because of course, well, Hangman has been targeting the Bang Bang Gang for quite a bit of time now. Of course, has cost Jay White a match as well on Dynamite against Christian Cage. They did have a bit of an altercation this past week on Dynamite, and what was interesting was that Jay White took off the belt. Have we got a strap match on the way for us? Potentially even Texas Death Match. Either way, sign me up for these two. Always got great chemistry in ring, and as Jay White has said, his record is always superior at this moment over Hangman Adam Page. I do think that's going to change here though. I think Page will pick up the win, but this one has got match of the night written all over it for me. with even all these amazing matches we've discussed so far in this show. Another match that has potential for match of the night would be Ricochet versus Konosuke Takeshita for the International Championship. Look, this has even gone over to Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. These two can't be kept apart at this particular time, and Ricochet, well, he didn't lose the match, did he, when it came to AEW Wrestle Dream, so he sees himself firmly still in the International Championship picture. Takeshita has deserved this championship run, in my personal opinion, has been doing excellent work in AEW for quite a long time, and to be fair, wherever he wrestles, to be fair, the guy is a future superstar. To make an early prediction, right now I would say Takeshita retains, just purely because he's not had the title for very long, but at the same time though, really looking forward to it. I think that this one has the potential to go either way, especially when Ricochet has been handed the business card from MVP. This is something personally I would like to see happen. Next, let's talk about the AEW Tag Team Championship, and Swerve alert, not Strickland, whose house? I'm actually going to predict that the Young Bucks are not going to be AEW Tag Team Champions by the time we reach Full Gear. In fact, I think Private Party are going to win those tag team titles on Fright Night Dynamite, because, well, Private Party, if they lose, they have to break up as a tag team, and I have a funny feeling they're going to get the job done. Either that or Stokely's going to cost them, but I like to think that Stokely won't do that. He wants to manage them, and if he has the opportunity to manage tag team champions, I don't know, I think that could work out a bit better. But for me, Private Party have been on a major push. It feels a bit like what they did previously with the Acclaimed, where you have the first match, don't quite get the job done, try to raise the stock, then the second match, that's when the switch can happen. So I'm going to go for Private Party to win the titles there. And there is another tag team that seems to really want these tag team titles at the moment. In fact, Don Callis really wants those tag team titles in particular. He's made a new tag team, a destructive looking tag team, a strong dude and a big dude, and that combo works really well for me. It's Brian Cage and Lance Archer. Of course, I've seen online people say the Murder Hawk Machines or the Murder Machines. Either way, that name's freaking awesome for a tag team. So yeah, I think that could be your tag team title match for Full Gear. To be honest, I mean, they're so dominant, the heels, that I could probably see them going over, but Private Party have put all that effort to establish and build a new tag team to beat the Bucks for those tag team titles. For me, they would need to keep them for the, well, at least medium to long term. So I would say that Private Party would go over. So what will the Young Bucks do instead? What is the Elite going to do? Well, if you've been living under a rock and not watching AEW as of late, the Blackpool Combat Club have been destroying everything that the Young Bucks tried to build. They have been, well, pretty much taking out loads of different talent, putting people out week to week, trainers as well, including Chuck Taylor. We've seen Bryan Danielson, of course, retired. So all sorts of things are happening in the promotion right now, and it's destruction and anarchy caused by the Blackpool Combat Club. To now, the Elite have kept well out of the way, and they've been questioned on why they've been keeping out of the way, while they're letting this BCC group just take over the company and destroy it and everything that's within its path. It would only seem so long until the Elite would be a target for the BCC, and I think if they lose those tag team titles, maybe in the cause of the BCC or something that leads to an attack afterwards, I just have a feeling that the Bucks are going to switch it up. I think that they will go to defend AEW, and I think that may even see a switch from Okada that just says bitch every week to actually an Okada that I think we're used to seeing from New Japan, and someone that's actually looking to maybe still say bitch to the opponents, but do it in a way that I think is seen as more babyface and more kick-ass Okada than this kind of like corporate stooge Okada that we've seen for the last number of months in All Elite Wrestling. So for that reason, I'm going to go with Wheeler Yuta, Pac and Claudio to go against the Bucks and Okada for the Trios Tag Team Championships. And my prediction is we will get new Trios Tag Team Champions in the Young Bucks and Kazuchika Okada. Now, it'd be interesting to see if the Elite do kind of switch it up and sort of try to protect the promotion, if they'll be sort of full-on baby faces or whether they'll just be, you know, trying to do the right thing, because I think regardless of what happens, no one wants to cheer a scapegoat. What is Jack Perry, the TNT champion, going to do on this show? For me, he would defend the championship against Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia wants to win gold in All Elite Wrestling, has put every champion on notice, and it feels like that Jack Perry is the guy that has been targeted even far back as AEW Wrestle Dream when he was saving Shibata from a beatdown. So I think this match is going to take place, and I am going to stick my neck out and say Daniel Garcia finally gets that moment. He's re-signed with the promotion. Let's get some gold on him. He's stopped Fandangoing. Let's make Daniel Garcia Mr. TNT. And last but not least is the AEW World Championship. Jon Moxley, still your champion, was a bit torn on the opponent. Maybe it'll be Darby Allin, because he's the guy that should have had the title shot, lost the title shot to Jon Moxley, but seems to be the spearhead of wanting to protect the AEW promotion at this particular time. Or on the other side, there's a guy that's beaten Jon Moxley, and a lot of people that are trying to tell this guy that if he really applied himself, that maybe he could just be a top guy in the promotion. Orange Cassidy. I considered the idea of the freeway, but I've decided to go with one of these guys with the other one in the corner, because obviously when it comes to matches like this right now with Jon Moxley, we know Moxley is not doing this alone. If he needs the backup, he will get the backup in the BCC. It will start with Marina Shafir at ringside with him, but of course Claudio, Pac, Wheeler, they could always get involved at any time. So for me, I'm going to say it will be Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy with Darby Allin in his corner. Darby Allin could be fighting on the rest of this card, but instead he is protecting himself from being in a match because he wants to make sure that AEW gets the strap back. I think Orange Cassidy, after seeing the BCC take out Chucky T, of course he's already retired, but obviously to then Pillmanize him this past week on Dynamite, I think is going to take Orange Cassidy to a different gear. I don't think we're going to see hands in pockets Orange Cassidy with the slow, lame kicks. I think we're going to see a full brute force Orange Punch going in the direction of Jon Moxley. And these two have had fantastic matches when they've wrestled in the past. All Out last year was a fantastic particular one I remember as a spectacle when you go back to it, and of course it main evented that pay-per-view as well. I think this one has all the billing to do it once again, but one thing though, instead of orange, I think that Cassidy will be spilling red. I think Moxley will retain the championship. They'll find a way to get through to this one, and I think that will then start building Moxley versus Darby Allin for World's End at the end of December. But that's my AEW Full Gear 2024 match card predicted, with some fantasy bookings, some predictions of what I think the results will be as well. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you enjoyed this video? What matches do you think we will see for AEW Full Gear? If you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button, share with a friend, subscribe as well, and check out this video on the side of your screen right now, because, well, should you be a WWE fan, could be taboo for this particular video, then you can check out the WrestleMania 41 match card predicted. Myself, joined by the one and only Mr. NX Steve, go for what we think will be the match card for that show. Thanks for watching, look after yourselves, and if you're just an AEW fan, I will see you for Full Gear predictions in the month of November.